Chewy back here. Podcast resuming. It has been a couple of years of a hiatus, but very, very excited to return and see what we can do, see what's in store for the future. And, after a lot of requests, after a lot of different, conversations with different peers and people that I know who have asked, where has the podcast gone? What's been going on? I felt that it was a good time to get back into it and get back into what I'm passionate about. Changes of scenery, changes of jobs, work, different things like that. And I think that now it's fun and it's time to circle back to something that I'm passionate about. And I know that I can have a lot of guests on the show, just trying to figure out scenery and different things like that. But very excited to be back. So I know that this live, because it wasn't announced, probably won't get any views. But hopefully, once it's posted to the channel, people can read it and look at it and listen to it, and we can start having episodes and different things that would be deemed fun. So first and foremost, not going to talk about hockey. My Dallas Stars broke my heart, but that's a conversation for another day. Maybe one of the future episodes will feature speaking about their cap space and whether or not they keep their captain Jamie Benn. But for now, it is Sunday. It is a couple of hours before Game 7 of the NBA Finals, and it's a very exciting time. The last time there was a Game 7 in the Finals in the NBA, 2016, one of the greatest years of all time. It was the Cavs, the Warriors. The Cavs down 3-1, come back. LeBron has that block towards the end of the game on Andre Iguodala, and the Cavs win the game at the end after Kyrie hits a shot in the last minute. So it has been a long time since there has been a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. A lot has changed. There's a lot of players that aren't playing anymore, a lot of players that have been playing on different teams. But what a time, in 2016 when that was happening. Now, today, Game 7 between the Pacers and the Thunder. Very, very excited to see what happens tonight. Originally, when speaking to my family and speaking to a couple of friends, I was telling them that I thought that the Thunder were going to win the series in six, but I did think that the Pacers would win Game 1. And, when the Pacers stormed back, made a comeback and won Game 1, by 1 point, I was like, oh, for sure. This is something that is going to change. I was spot on. This is something that I know that is going to be good. Um, and it's been a shocking series. I really think that it's been a series that um, is going to be one that's remembered for a long time. And it's a lot of the games are turning into instant classics. I love the way T.J. McConnell has played for the Pacers. I love the way T.J. McConnell has come off the bench and given the Pacers a spark. I really do like also the way, the Pacers have responded, after losing certain games and then going down by a lot in Game 1 to respond and come back and steal a game in Oklahoma City. And it was literally stealing a game, to now being tied after Oklahoma won 2 games in a row. They're tied now, and it's all obviously a winner take all Game 7. So, very, very excited for tonight. Very, very excited, to see what the future holds with the podcast. But, hoping that we can get some special guests, as I mentioned earlier. Hoping we can get a nice background, change of scenery. May even change the name. There's a lot of things that are featured. A lot of things, including. Talking about sports, talking about collections, collecting sports cards, different fragrances, colognes, talking about watches, talking about, everyday life stories, personal stories, memories with friends. There's a lot of different things that we can talk about, and even, playing golf, bowling, different things that I do. And, just looking forward to Game 7 tonight. So I'm hoping that, tonight, Game 7, we can see who wins. We'll talk about um, what happens after the game. We'll talk about the performances and stuff like that. I personally think the Pacers win. I think Obi Toppin and T.J. McConnell have a really big game for the Pacers. I think Tyrese Halliburton. I know he's nursing a calf injury, but I really think that he can make a big impression on the game if he plays as a decoy. Because he has to be guarded. He's an all star. He's a very, very good player. So I really think that he can really, really, really change the game. I really hope that Miles Turner plays well as well. But also, don't be shocked. Obviously, there's only two teams, but don't be shocked if the Thunder, they're playing at home, if they have a bounce back game as well. So I really think it's going to be a good game seven. I'm hoping it's not a blowout. I'm hoping it's not something that is going to be, there's all this anticipation and it ends up being a fail or, a game that really just there was no hype that was worth it, or that wasn't worth getting excited about because it's a blowout or it's a game that's not even competitive. I'm really hoping that the game becomes competitive. I really hope that both teams play well, and if it's up to me, I think that the Pacers winning would be really, really good for basketball. I think that it would be something that would benefit basketball. We can go back to the days of the Hoosiers, the movie The Hoosiers, and all the different old Pacers teams from the ABA, starting back, or starting to think back to, the 80s Pacers. They draft Reggie Miller, and then you have, the 90s Pacers that were really, really good. Reggie Miller, Mark Jackson, Rick Smits, the Davis boys, all these different players that made it to the finals, those 90s battles with the Knicks, and they never won, and seeing Reggie Miller on the sidelines, it's nice to see that he still cares about the franchise, and so do so many people, yeah, especially in a state and in a city that love basketball so much. So I really think it'd be good for basketball if the Pacers win. It would also be really, really good for basketball if the Thunder win. So there is really, the NBA doesn't lose tonight. The Thunder, they had three future MVPs in Durant, Westbrook, Harden. They got so close. They beat the Spurs, my Spurs, in 2012. They lose in the finals, and then they lose again in the conference finals a couple of times. KD leaves to the Warriors, and that kind of dismantles everything. Of course, James Harden gets traded to the Rockets, but they were still competitive with Westbrook and Durant, and Sam Presti. What a job he's done with the Thunder. Now they go back to starting from scratch, starting everything all over, getting picks, trading people, getting the right amount of picks and the right people, getting SGA from the Clippers for Paul George, unreal trade, drafting Chet Holmgren, having to wait a year because he hurt his foot. All these different people, Lou Dort, just defensive-minded, players. Isaiah Hartenstein, what a pickup from the Knicks, and doing everything the right way through drafting, through picks, starting from scratch, and now being one win away from winning the NBA Finals and their first championship in Oklahoma City, even though they've won in Seattle technically. But I wouldn't. For me, Oklahoma City's never won, and neither have the Pacers. The Pacers did win in the ABA, but not in the NBA. So, big win for the NBA tonight. But again, thank you everybody. I know that some people tuned in, so I really, really appreciate it. Very, very excited to start this again. Just have conversations and stuff like that. We'll be honest. Most of the videos will be without a video up until, or the podcast, sorry, would be without a video up until we're able to get a nice background setting and stuff like that, where we can have guests and talk about different things, have professional equipment and stuff like that. But for now, I think this will be okay. So really, really appreciate everybody tuning in, and I really hope that we can continue this and get this going. So thank you very much, and have a nice Sunday, everybody.